Hey VC, I'm bringing you a new video today that's highlighting my top 5 albums of 2017. This was a tough one. I don't know about you guys, but there was just so much fantastic music in 2017 that I had a really hard time narrowing it down. In fact, what I like to do is I like to keep a list of all the new albums that come out in a year, and anything that I really enjoyed or that I liked when I heard the singles, or when they had streaming on NPR or something available before the new album came out. I would jot it down in a notebook. I like to do that and keep track of it, and then I just check off whichever ones I'm able to order. So I'll show you my list this year. This is my list for 2017. That I kept track of, and the check marks indicate ones that I was able to get on vinyl. It was really hard because there were 76 albums this year that I absolutely loved, just absolutely loved, and I only got a handful of them on vinyl because, well, it's kind of expensive, and I can't always afford to get everything that I want. So, when new albums are between 20 and sometimes up to 40 or 50, depending on the pressing, especially for soundtracks. Some cool soundtracks come out, they come through Mondo, and they're very pricey. So I got what I could this year, but I narrowed this down. It was really hard to narrow it down to my top 25 albums of the year, and then extremely hard to narrow it down to the top 5. But at the same time, I knew what my top few were the whole year. So it wasn't too hard. It was more of the ones that were vying for the 4th and 5th spot that we had to, that took some time. But so I'm going to give you my top 5 albums right now of 2017. And if you go over to my website, I'll put the link in. Then I'm going to list out all the my top 25 albums of the year, and also my top 10 songs of the year. So you can head over there and check everything out. But for now, let's get started on the top 5. Okay, so coming in at number 5, I have Vagabond, and the album is Infinite Worlds. This came out on Father Daughter Records this year. It came out early in the year. I think it was maybe January or February. It's a fantastic album. Leticia is just a really fantastic singer. She has a really different voice, brings something, I think, very unique to the indie world. Just something totally different. And so when I heard the first single, which I actually listened to because a band I love, Told Slant, kept tweeting about Vagabond, I immediately ordered the album and bought tickets to see her in Philly with a friend of mine. So I just really love this from the start. And then when I got the album and listened to it, it's just one that I listen to a lot. I listen to it over and over again. I think it's absolutely stunning. Again, just a really different voice, something new and refreshing to the indie world. So this is Vagabond. This comes in at number 5 for me. Okay, coming in at number 4 is Land of Talk, Life After Youth. This was a highly anticipated album, especially for me and any big Land of Talk fans, because I know I've discussed Land of Talk before. Canadian band. They sort of went on indefinite hiatus in 2010 after the release of Cloak and Cipher, which is one of my favorite albums of all time. And no one really thought that they'd get together and make music again. And in fact, Lizzie Powell, who heads up Land of Talk, didn't really think that music was in her future again either. But luckily she came back and she released this really lovely album. And I'm so excited. This one it came out on Saddle Creek in the US, and it's absolutely beautiful. It came as a really great package too, because it came on this split blue and black vinyl, but it also came with a felt pennant and a pin and stickers. All kinds of great stuff came in this package for the pre-order for Land of Talk. So this is a fantastic album. It's really true to Land of Talk sound. I don't know that it's quite as good as Cloak and Cipher, but that's really hard to touch because it's I think that album is so flawless, but this is really excellent. There are some fantastic songs on here, and I'm really happy to say that some of my friends who didn't know Land of Talk got into Land of Talk this year, and are really enjoying this album too. So this comes in at number 4, and if you haven't heard Land of Talk, I'm going to put some links down below. You really need to listen to her because Lizzie's fantastic, and they make some excellent music. My number 3 album is by Gord Downie. This is his album Introduce Yourself, which actually came out not too long after he passed away. This was the last album he made, but it was made after his diagnosis of brain cancer. And the album is really beautiful because it was taking all, basically he took all these poems he had written for people that meant a lot to him, people he loved in his life, and he set them to music with the help of Kevin Drew. And the result is absolutely beautiful and haunting and breathtaking. I think I would probably put this album in my top 5, even if there wasn't so much meaning behind it, just because I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Really, really lush and beautiful songs. They did great arrangements for these, actually. And the fact that they recorded this in a couple of days is really, really amazing. And that Gord was able to do it, considering after his surgery, he could barely form a sentence. He couldn't remember any songs he had ever written, albums he had ever done. So for him to be able to put this together, for them to be able to release this was pretty amazing, I think, and the result was absolutely stunning. So this is a double LP. There are quite a few songs on here, as you can see, haunting and hard to listen to in a lot of respects, but an absolutely beautiful album, and I think he couldn't have left anything more lovely for us as his parting gift. So this is my number 3 of 2017. All right, number 2. One I've shown recently is Torres, 3 Futures. I love Torres. She's so fantastic. Her album Sprinter was probably my favorite album of 2015. That and Sleater-Kinney's No Cities to Love, I think, were probably tied for number 1 spot that year. And so I have been looking forward to this album coming out ever since Sprinter, because Sprinter that's one of my favorite albums too. It's something I can listen to front to back all the time and never get sick of it. 3 Futures, I think, is it's almost as good as Sprinter. I think it needs a little bit, I don't know. Sprinter's just got such a magical place for me. I hold it in such a magical place in my heart. 3 Futures is really brilliant, though, and the more I listen to it, the more I enjoy it, the more I find in it that I think is just so good. It's absolutely wonderful album. I seriously was excited about this one coming out. The second the pre-order was available, I went ahead and ordered it, and it came, the first 100 in the pre-order were signed by Torres. So that was pretty cool too. But this is a really haunting, beautiful album. Absolutely love it. And yeah, number 2. And in the number 1 spot for my favorite album of 2017, this was no question, hands down, Perfume Genius, No Shape. This album is absolutely stunning. It is stunning. I had been really excited about this coming out because I love Perfume Genius. I think that Mike makes some really incredible music. This just goes above and beyond anything he's done before. It's absolutely perfect, I think. It's from start to finish, it is just beautiful and cinematic and absolutely lush and gorgeous. The sound is so full, and Mike sounds more sure of himself than he ever has before. His albums sort of progress through his own coming to terms with his identity and sexuality and finding a place for himself in the world and where he felt he fit in. And this just sounds so confident and like he's really feeling more comfortable in his skin now. And I know that whatever he does next is going to blow my head off too, because this is just unbelievable. It's so beautiful. If you haven't heard Perfume Genius, every album sounds a little bit different. Some albums are a little bit more electronic heavy. Some are really piano driven. This is absolutely lush and gorgeous and orchestral and just stunning. So I'm going to put some links down below for all of this stuff, but really give Perfume Genius a listen. Um, I just think he's really outdone himself this time, and I can't imagine an album getting any better than this. So whatever he does next is I'm looking forward to it because I think it's going to be unreal. So yeah, this one came out on Matador Records this year, and this is my #1 album. So those were my top 5, but like I said, there were 76 albums that I had written down this year as being really awesome albums. So that's a lot of fantastic new music, and of course, these are just things I like. So, and I know that there was just so much being put out this year. I mean, I went through a lot of top lists for 2017, top 100 albums, top 50 albums, and there's stuff in there that like I haven't even gotten to listen to yet. And so, I mean, I'm sure that there's probably even more. Fantastic year for music, really great stuff coming out, a lot of new artists, but also a lot of returning artists. I mean, a lot of the albums that I showed you here are from returning artists, and I was pretty excited about that. But Vagabond is really new, and I think you guys should check all this stuff out. And I'm really interested to see what everybody else has as their top albums of the year. So I'm going to start watching some of those top 10, 25, 15, whatever videos of the year, or albums of the year videos. And yeah, and I'm excited to hear what you guys really enjoyed. So yeah, so let me know. You can leave some in the comments too. If you have an album on here that you agreed with, or one of these was in your top 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 50, I don't know. There was so much great music out there this year. So looking forward to seeing what everybody else liked. So those are my top 5. As I said, go over to my website. It's vinylhysteria.com, and you'll see my top 25 albums of the year and also my top 10 songs of the year. So until my next video, take care. Bye, guys.